She bought freedom for her beloved Richelieu with her marriage. Such was her father's harsh condition. The Duke would be released from prison if Princess Charlotte Aglaia de Valois wed the ruler of Medina. As she donned her veil, the bride looked as if she were putting on mourning attire. The generous and lovesick girl sacrificed her happiness for the sake of saving young Richelieu. Aglaia, this was how her family referred to her, was the daughter of the regent of France, the all-powerful Duke of Orleans, and Françoise Marie de Bourbon, flesh and blood of Louis XIV and his official mistress. She was born in the year 1700, and, as often happens in aristocratic families, she bore a different surname than the rest of her relatives, Mademoiselle de Valois. As a young lady of royal blood, she was expected to receive a proper education, so at the age of 12, Aglaia was placed in the care of the Abbey of Chelles. But it was all in vain. The lively and capricious beauty adored entertainment, not dusty tomes. Her parents tried to transfer her to another institution, but even there, her studies did not improve. The regent sighed. He was a wonderful father who adored his children, and many of them were doing quite well in their studies. If Aglaia turned out to be the exception, so be it. The princess was brought back home, and they began searching for a suitable husband for her. Various candidates were considered: the son of Prince Conti, the son of the Duke of Maine, Count de Charolais, and the Duke of Savoy. All were wealthy, noble, and had direct connections to the royal family, but none of these unions materialized. Some were rejected by Aglaia's mother, while others were dismissed by the princess herself. After all, she dreamed of marrying for love, and love did indeed come her way. The 17-year-old daughter of the regent fell head over heels for Louis-François Armand de Richelieu, a great-grandnephew of the famous cardinal. This handsome dandy turned the heads of many court ladies. He was so successful in this endeavor that his own father asked the king to confine him in the Bastille to cool his hot blood. The imprisonment lasted for a year and 2 months, but it did nothing to reform the Duke. Barely free, he plunged into debauchery and even scandalized society with a duel against Count de Guise. For this adventure, Richelieu was thrown back into prison. It was no surprise that Aglaia's family wanted nothing to do with such a suitor for their daughter. They tried to explain to her that matters of the heart are important and pleasant, but one should choose a life partner based on entirely different principles. After all, Aglaia's parents had married against their own wishes. They lived, of course, not too happily, but did that really matter to people of their standing? Aglaia was ready to defend her right to marry for love, but caring friends informed her that Richelieu was showing interest in more than just her. For several years, he had been regularly visiting Aglaia's cousin's bedroom. This wounded the heart of the lovesick girl so deeply that she fell ill with a fever. And when she recovered, she coldly declared that Richelieu was forever banished from her heart and memory. But the heart does not obey commands. Aglaia suffered from her own decision, while the Duke bombarded her with passionate letters. They might have reunited, but the wayward Richelieu became embroiled in the Chalamer conspiracy against the Duke of Orleans, and, unsurprisingly, he ended up in prison once again. This time, the situation was very serious. Romantic escapades and duels were one thing, but Spanish intrigues aimed at overthrowing the ruler of France were another. Duke Richelieu faced the threat of death. Aglaia trembled and pleaded with her father to spare her unfaithful lover. But Philippe of Orleans stood firm. For the first time, he spoke to his daughter in raised voices. There was no way to release the Duke. However, if Aglaia married according to her parents' wishes, Richelieu would face nothing more than banishment. An exchange took place. The conspirator was sent away from the capital, and Aglaia was married off to Francesco, the heir of the Duke of Medina and Reggio. This ceremony occurred without the groom, as it was conducted by proxy, while the real wedding was celebrated with great fanfare in Medina. The veil of freedom that Aglaia de Valois wore felt like mourning attire to her. Neither the millions in dowry nor the clusters of diamonds from Francesco brought her joy. Her new homeland held no allure for Aglaia. She longed to return to France. Francesco loved Aglaia, although he once caught her in an affair, with the same Duke Richelieu who had come to visit the princess in Medina. A scandal erupted, and the unfaithful wife had to repent. But in her marriage to Francesco, Aglaia bore 10 children, of whose paternity there was no doubt. As one might imagine, the couple did not enjoy a quiet and peaceful family life. They argued frequently, and Aglaia often took long trips back to France, where she also managed to fall out with many relatives who disapproved of her connection with Richelieu. Their relationship continued, despite everything. One day, Aglaia discovered that her husband, weary of her tumultuous lifestyle and difficult temperament, was quite happy with an older Marquise Simonetti. The Duchess of Medina did not reproach her husband for his infidelity. Instead, she returned to Paris, where she passed away 2 years later. Aglaia's husband married twice more, and Richelieu, whom she had loved all her life, entered into marriage after the princess's death. He lived to a ripe old age. For the freedom Aglaia had granted him, he paid with long and faithful service to the royal house. Renouncing the foolish antics of his youth, he became a peer and marshal of France. Even today, he is considered one of the most talented military commanders, having never lost a battle throughout his life, instilling fear in the likes of Frederick the Great. Even Alexander Suvorov spoke of him, saying, "Richelieu's genius outplayed the War of the Spanish Succession, winning the struggle for the Austrian inheritance." He was only unfortunate in one respect. He never became the husband of Princess Aglaia,